Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with everybody's favorite day of the week. It is, I'll just say it, it's hump day. And it is hump day today in sports betting. This is the NBA show. We're back, NBA, and we're going to take a look at the finals here. Should be a pretty entertaining final, Scott, between the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers. I know it's an entertaining final for you because, as you've mentioned once or 700 times, you have tickets on both of these teams. So congratulations. You don't even have to hedge. It's the auto hedge series for you.
Something like that. I'd say that the profits aren't exactly even if on both sides. So there is one team that I'm particularly hoping will win the thing.
What do you have? The Lakers? You have the Lakers at like 11 and the Heat at 33-1 or something like that?
I have the Lakers at 9, and I have the Heat at 33. But I make a decent amount more if the Lakers win because of my unit sizing for both. But overall, looking forward to a good series. I know that Florida is trying to become the official new title state after winning the Stanley Cup and now having a shot to win the NBA Finals roughly 2 weeks later. So I
hope they don't get their hopes up for any other sports because that's going to be about it.
Yeah, you got Tampa as well, with baseball. You got the Rays who are decent. You also got the Buccaneers. Florida, yeah, they actually have some teams in all the sports for some reason that actually – I know Florida's a relatively big state, and Miami shouldn't really be grouped in with Tampa, but sure. And you also have the Marlins.
I stand by my previous statement.
I'm saying you should stand by your previous statement. I'm just saying that there's a decent amount of Florida teams around.
There is a decent amount of Florida teams around. It's like going to the horse track and taking 1A, 1B, 1C. They all suck, but they are all from Florida.
But you get both of them. That's all that matters.
All right, man. So it's the Lakers minus 4.5. Total's 217. That's come down just a tick, Scott. I think it opened at 218. It's dribbled down just a little bit, if you will. And this is going to be an interesting series, mainly because finally the Lakers are going to have to play somebody that plays a little defense. And that's kind of an unusual situation as they've run through Portland, Houston, and Denver. Not exactly a defensive juggernaut. And I, of course, have said all along that I thought there was 3 or 4 teams in the East that were better than any team in the West. And now we get to find out if that's true. Scott, your thoughts on this one?
So you're talking about for game 1 or the series as a whole?
I don't know. Surprise me.
So I think I'll start out with the series, for my opinion, because I do have futures on both. Simply put, I think that the media is making it sound like this is going to be an absolute blowout. If you listen to any talking head show, it sounds like LeBron's going to coast to another championship and that there's really nothing that anybody can do about it. I still think Miami's very live. I know that a lot of people seem to just think, the Lakers are automatically going to win. They got LeBron and AD. I really like this Miami team, and I've been saying that for months. It's a broken record at this point.
They're a team. They're
not a full team. The issue I have with the Lakers, I know that it's been brought up numerous times, and a lot of teams have this issue. The depth is absolutely atrocious for the Lakers. Their bench is just so, especially from the wing perspective, from the shooting guard to the small forward position, they are just bad. I mean, they're giving Caldwell Pope like 20 to 30 minutes. Danny Green's been useless for the entire playoffs. Caruso is more of a point guard who plays shooting guard occasionally now that Rondo's back. He's good defensively. Offensively, he hasn't really done much. It's just a matter of, I feel like the Lakers, in order to win the series, they need LeBron and AD to average like 65 points per game.
Not even sure that'll do it. That's the thing. The Lakers are better at their their best player, their second best player. They matched up with Adebayo and with Jimmy Butler, but the Heat are far better at like 3 through 7, and I think that's what it's going to come down to in this one for me. It's going to be how those guys that aren't the quote unquote superstars play in this one, and that should, to my way of thinking, give a small nod to the Heat there, buddy.
I think that I'm personally leaning to the Heat. I know that a lot of people
don't see every day.
I know you're having a camera malfunction. I know that the Lakers should be the favorites, of course, because they have LeBron, AD, etc. But if I really had to pick in a 7-game series, I don't want to say that this reminds me a lot of the Heat Maverick series from about a decade ago. But if we're talking about like a team versus a collection of 2 or 3 superstars with a bunch of below average role player talent, this is very similar to that series to me. Am I wrong for drawing a parallel between those two? Because I think that this Heat series, they don't have a Dirk, of course, but they remind me a lot of that Dallas team that won.
They just keep sending guys at you, man. They really do, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people anticipate. I really do. I think
the series will probably go at least 6. I've heard a lot of people saying Lakers in 5, stuff like. I think the Heat win at least 2 games here.
I agree. I completely agree with that. What about this? What about this total, Scott? 217. A little bit of money on the under. Of course, these teams have played mostly to the over in the playoffs. Do you see that trend stopping? If they finally got a tall number here, because we've been seeing 209, 208, 211, 213. They started creeping up a little bit in the later part of the series. They're still able to hit. Now we're looking at a genuine NBA total of 217. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think it's very tricky, of course, because it is the first game of a series, and you kind of want to see how these teams feel each other out. If I'm going to lean anywhere, I'm going to be leaning to the first half over. I know that sounds like a weird lean, but the Heat and the Lakers have had pretty high-scoring first half so far throughout the postseason, especially in the last couple of series. The Lakers especially, the first half, every game went over about 111 or so against Denver. So they've had some really high-scoring first halves. I think it's going to be a similar story in this one. Same thing with the Heat and the Celtics. Most of the time, they've had high-scoring halves. Occasionally, you have a defensive game where both teams can't shoot the ball. But I think that both teams are going to feel each other out, and then I expect to see a very, very defensive game in the second half, especially with both teams who have the ability to switch from man to zone. Both teams are phenomenal defensively as a whole, but I do think there will be a feeling out process for both teams defensively, and I think that you should see a lot of points in the first half, and then I think the game's going to plummet in terms of points in the second half. At least that's my opinion for game 1. So for me, only to the first half over if I had to lean anywhere.
Yeah, the Lakers first half over team total has been money in the bank.
Yeah,
it's 57 for this one, which is about what it has been before. I'm going to, of course, play that one. That's just failed us one time, and of course that was the time I made it a premium play. But that's been it. If there's any constant in the series for the Lakers, that has been the constant. They are a good starting team, not a great finishing team.
Yeah, so that's why I think the first half over makes a lot of sense, and I'd rather take that than total in the full game, because I really do think that the third or fourth quarter is going to turn into a massive slugfest in which offense is going to be more difficult to come by. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. I think you'll agree with that. I think the defensive effort will be better in the second half.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Duncan Robinson has been a first half player for the most part as well. He's been kind of.
He can't guard anybody, but he can shoot.
No, I don't know if he's the worst defender in the league, but there's probably not many guys that have more fouls per minute than he does.
Probably not, but you know that they're just going to throw him on Danny Green and just say, "Yeah, go nuts." Danny Green's not going to do anything.
No, and that's probably. That's probably something that you could say for most games that Danny Green is playing.
I think the main differential between these two teams, I think, makes me like the Heat is the 3-point differential. It's just the Lakers aren't a great 3-point shooting team.
No,
and Heat are an elite 3-point shooting team, and now it's a 3-point driven league. I think that definitely plays into the Heat's hands.
Lakers play decent 3-point defense. They're 8th in the NBA. Letting their opponents shoot about 33.8%.
Miami decent 3-point defense. I thought they were decent.
No, the Lakers 3-point.
No, I'm saying, is Miami good at 3-point defense or?
Yeah, they're a little better than middle of the pack.
That's what I thought. I know that the Lakers aren't exactly sharpshooters from back there anyway. So
no,
we'll see what happens.
No, and I think that's going to be the game for these guys. Is they're going to have to make LeBron, and they're going to have to keep AD and LeBron out of the paint. If they can hold them to perimeter shooting, LeBron shot right at 33%. from 3-point range over the course of the playoffs. You can live with that. Keep LeBron beyond the arc when he makes his shots. Don't let him penetrate. I think that's going to be on Jimmy Butler. How do you think that matchup's going to
go? I think that's going to take a massive amount of team effort in order to stop the LeBron or AD. How do I think that matchup's going to work between LeBron and Butler? I think LeBron's going to perform really well. Having said that, I do acknowledge that Jimmy Butler's a very good defender. I just think that LeBron was too big for him to stay in front of for a full 48 minutes.
I think, and they don't have to stop him. And of course, Bam Adebayo is going to be mainly tasked with slowing down Anthony Davis.
And that's a great matchup. I think that itself is a great matchup.
That's going to be a fun matchup to see.
I'm also curious what the Lakers are going to do in terms of their lineups. Are they going to keep Dwight at the center? Are they going to go back to a smaller lineup because the Heat like to stretch the floor? I got no idea.
I think my personal opinion is they're going to start Howard.
That would be my assumption as well. I'm just curious because the 3-point defense is going to be a problem. If Miami ends up going to their I don't want to say their death lineup, but if they end up going to their 3-point lineup with Adebayo at center, I don't know what Howard's going to do defensively. They're going to pick and roll him to death. I don't know what he's supposed to do in that spot.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is a Miami team that you can play them tough for 40 minutes, and that 8-minute stretch will put you away.
That's what happened in Game 6 against Boston. They just took over the game.
That's the thing. That's what they do. Scott, I'm leaning towards the over in this game. I really am. I think there's going to be a ton of points, especially in the first half. We may have to white knuckle it a little bit there at the end, but I think these teams are going to trade blows, and I think it's going to go over the total of 217. I'm going to fade the public in this one.
I'm just going to lean to Miami. At the end of the day, Los Angeles has been a pretty underwhelming Game 1 team. I know that they ended up smacking Denver in Game 1 of that series. The Nuggets had to go through a Game 7, and the Lakers were taking a nap after beating Houston in 5. So Lakers were more rested. They took advantage of it. But they lost Game 1 to the Rockets. They lost Game 1 to the Trailblazers. And the Heat are they're undefeated in Game 1s in the playoffs so far. So the Heat tend to start off series pretty quickly. And I think that it was 5. I liked it more at 5, but now it's at 4.5. I understand where the money's come in. I'm still going to lean to the Heat. I think the Heat have a serious shot to win the game. So I'll lean to the points.
All right, very good. And I have a premium play on the side on that one. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check out the previous selections. Anything else you want to say about this one?
No. I'm just hoping for good quality basketball.
Yeah, should be fun to see. Personally, I like this matchup better than I like Lakers and Milwaukee. That was the one that was supposed to come about. I think this Miami team matches up better with the Lakers than the Milwaukee did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy it, and hope you're successful in your betting endeavors on the NBA Finals. And that's going to do it. Make sure if you want to get I know that Jordy McIntyre has written a very nice piece over there at Winners and Winers. If you want to check out his thoughts on this game and the series, make sure you stop by winnersandwiners.com. Check out his NBA selections. Very, very good basketball capper. I always check his stuff just for angles that I may have missed. So make sure you check out that as well. And let us know what you're playing in the comments section. Drop us a note. Tell us what you're on this one. You're on the Lakers. You're on the Heat. You think there's going to be points, or is it going to be a defensive struggle? Whatever it is, whatever angle you've got, drop it in the comment section and share it with your fellow viewers if you would. Please be so kind. All right, and that's going to do it for the NBA. We'll be back on the other flip side here with our MLB show. But for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwiners.com, we appreciate you stopping by. Hope every single ticket in your pocket cashes today. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Bye-bye, everybody.